TWM podcast.
I need some help here. Josh 2.0. It's not real Josh today. Please assist me and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance.
To the podcast.
To the podcast.
Of Mr. Geal.
Are you fucking serious? Of Mr. Geal.
I will not fight him.
I will not fight him.
For creative control.
For creative control.
And will not differ to him on any issues related to NXT.
George Geal sniffs his fingers after he has a poo.
Welcome to the Wednesday Night War podcast. I don't sniff my fingers after I've had a poo over the stage.
How did you not see that coming?
I don't know. Episode number 7 of the Wednesday Night Wars podcast. As you can tell, we are not joined by Josh Bannister. We're joined by Matty Deller.
Yes, Josh has a boring job that means he can't be here for the next few weeks on a Thursday. So at the moment, I'm here. Hopefully someone better will turn up soon and join George.
I hope you hear this. Superdrug is better than Boots.
Stop firing shots. He's off doing important business. Important shop-related business. Leave him be.
I shall. Before we get into this, guys, do not forget to subscribe to us on anywhere you do get your podcast. iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Acast, Podbean, YouTube, anywhere. I don't care as long as you get to listen to us. And also go over to squarecirclebox.co.uk or .com.
It is the .com.
It is the .com. I always forget. And use TWM News for 10% off your first order. I had my first one last month, and I was quite surprised. I was quite pleasantly surprised with it. Except a very large poster of Bray Wyatt terrifies me.
Oh yeah, if you want to check out the unboxing video, I will mention that. You can check that out on our socials at TWM Wrestle. You can see Shmi. What I'm going to do, just in case, just to let anyone know that if you put in squaredcirclebox.co.uk, does it redirect? If it does, then it doesn't matter. But if it doesn't, then at least you'll know. We provide a service on all of our podcasts, so I'm just going to check now. For some reason I'm really struggling to type .co.uk. I've not done that in ages.
Whilst Matt is typing in .co.uk, also do go over to our Twitter at TWM Wrestle to join in on some of our giveaways, because we are doing lots of lovely giveaways in partnership with Fight TV. Yeah,
we had loads last week, and I'm telling you now, we are doing some stuff for Christmas that is, in my words, because I'm not actually in charge of this, it's Kayla, our man behind the secret man behind the curtain, is organising this, and some of the stuff that we're getting in the pipeline for Christmas is ridiculous. I'm telling you this now, so make sure you check.
He's working unbelievably hard.
Yes, he is. But I'm going to tell you now, before we get into this is going to be really hard, because these were the two best shows that both companies have done during these wars. So, in my opinion anyway, so this is going to be fun to talk about.
It will. We have found out the final 2 members of both War Games teams. So, during a match between Keith Lee and Roddy Strong, which we will get into a little bit later on, the Undisputed Era came down before Riddle and Ciampa joined in the melee to try and even up the odds. Who came out to save them, to help them, and to destroy the entire Undisputed Era? Dominic Dijakovic.
He's
brilliant.
This was something that we kind of assumed that was going to happen, but I'm still
we couldn't think of anyone else.
Really happy that it was. I will say, not to step all over your toes a little bit, technically he was the final member of Team Ciampa, but now he's not, because someone's out of the match. Due to something that happened during all of this. So he was the last member, but now he's the second to last member, if that makes sense. There's still one
who is actually out.
Well, of course, with all the stuff, I'm assuming you'll get into it later. I don't want to jump into it. With the whole Riddle and Balor situation.
Oh, yes.
That's now a match at War Games, so Riddle's out of War Games, and they've got a space left, which I am still insisting is going to be filled by Velveteen Dream, because I cannot think of anyone else that would be in there other than maybe Peter Dunne, but he is busy fighting with
2 large men.
Goths and Irishmen.
Yeah, more or less. What a brilliant little bit in this in this sort of segment was Dijakovic clears out the Undisputed Era, looks at Ciampa, a nice little handshake. He releases, turns around, and is just face to face with Keith Lee, and then they shake hands.
I love the crowd just chanting "Kiss." Which would have been brilliant if they actually followed through with that and just had a full-on snog to confirm that he's part of the team. This is great. All of this was brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant.
The Keith Lee promo, great. The match between Keith Lee and Roddy Strong, brilliant. Loved all of it. The brawl afterwards, expected that it was going to happen. And Dijakovic joining, I forget it's Dijakovic or Dijakovic. I'm going to stick with Djokovic. So I'm going to say Vic. Or Djokovic, rather. And him joining the team makes sense. It does obviously now leave a gap because Riddle's now replacing Johnny Gargano, who might be actually injured. I'm not sure.
He is actually injured, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because they mentioned it, but it's been so storyline. This is why, full disclosure, it was kind of put on, and I'm going to behind the curtain here, it was put in the, because it's a big deal, he's out of War Games, but it was put in the news update rather than kind of a big breaking news story, because shock of all shocks, yesterday was a bit of a mental day for news, I'm not gonna lie. Because I wasn't sure whether it's storyline and they're just having him sit at home for a while and he's just resting up, or he has a legit neck injury. I'm not sure. I wouldn't be shocked if Gargano's is legit injured, because he took that 1916 right on the top of his head on the ramp, so that would not shock me. Dijakovic in the War Games is going to be the big lad that flies off the top of the cage. He's going to be the guy that's the big spot off the top of the cage.
Yeah, he will be.
And I am all for that, because there's always the one lad that does the flippy shit. I believe, who did the big jump the first War Games? No, the second one. First one was it Killian Dane? Yeah, Killian Dane went mental, didn't he? And started doing all these jumps off the cage. And the second one was
Ricochet with his 630.
No, double moonsault. That was a double moonsault. So an inverted 630, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I have nothing wrong with all of this. Much like I have nothing wrong with all the stuff that happened in the women's War Games.
And the women's War Game, the final member of Team Baszler is Kaylee fucking Ray.
Did
NXT
not
UK.
see this coming. Not even a lie. What a delightful swerve.
It was brilliant because Dakota Kai was out there trying to help Mia Yim win, and you were just expecting her to get Yim to climb the ladder, to push it over and be like, yeah, I'm member number 4. Baszler.
Yeah. They knew what the crowd were expecting, and they subverted us brilliantly. But before we kind of talk about Kaylee Ray, there's a good chance Kai might be in the ladder match and be in the War Games match anyway, because Mia Yim nearly got Joey Mercury in that ladder match.
She did. That was an insane ladder match. It was brilliant between the two.
Oh, it was there are ladder matches that are athletic spectacles, and there are ladder matches that are just fights. See Triple H versus The Rock at SummerSlam 98 for a ladder match. That's just a fight. This was a fight between these two people involved in the ladders, and luckily it cleaned up quite quickly, but I would not be shocked if Mia Yim's taken out of the War Games match, because that was a nasty blow to the head, and I will be very surprised if she didn't get a concussion from that. Because
plus being tossed through the ladder at ringside by Kaylee Ray. Full disclosure, just finished watching NXT. I want to say about half an hour ago. I was getting stuff ready and watching the match. I did not expect a full-on TLC spot from Mia. Of all the people to do it, Mia Yim, because Mia Yim is basically a street dog.
Oh no, but she's Spotfest queen. If you ever watched any of the matches, she's known for having I know she has, like you said, the street thug persona, the head baddie in charge of NXT, but she's known for taking these ridiculous, crazy bumps in ladder matches and lethal lockdown in Impact and all that stuff. But that was a horrific bump, and yeah, good lord, unbelievable. But the ladder, I thought we were getting a Joey Mercury, because the way they went, oh, and I could see the blood just pouring out of her face. And I was like, oh, well, shit. I
loved her character work in one particular sense. She picked up the ladder and she physically went to pick it up, because obviously in WWE the ladders that they use aren't always made of metal.
Yeah,
a lot of them are wood on the inside, so they break easier, or they use some form of material like that. But the way the character work to do that, to pick it up to strain picking it up to say how heavy it was or to say how knackered it was just like character work on Mia Yim's part is probably her strongest suit.
Also, what I will say, and I hope here no one sounds the sexist alarm on me, because this is a genuine point, is...
I've got it ready.
Just press the button in case. Is, for it to be realistic, Io Shirai and Mia Yim are smaller than most people that are in a ladder match. They should struggle to pick a ladder up because it is a big thing. They're not like for example, a Street Profits or an Undisputed Era, that a ladder is kind of probably like their height and then a little bit more, whereas these ladders are legitimately, I think, probably double the size of Io Shirai. If you know what I mean, they are smaller. They should struggle to get the ladders up, and they both did brilliantly. And Io selling the arm picking the ladder up.
Yes, that
was a nice spot. And also we had a horrific spot where they did the overhead belly to belly, and she
literally just clipped it, didn't she?
She clipped it, which is worse than hitting it flush, because she got hip and like lower back right on the lip of the ladder and just looked nasty. But tremendous match, tremendous sacrifice, and Kaylee Ray in War Games is, again, the person that's going to jump off the cage is probably going to be Kaylee Ray.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
It's weird how, I don't know about you, it's weird how I did not think of Kaylee Ray, but that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I didn't really think of it either, because I didn't think that they bring anyone from NXT UK over.
I thought the obvious one would have been bringing Toni Storm over, because they've not seen her on TV, but they seem to just be having her sit at home for whatever reason. Like, she's not doing anything at the moment, even on the independents. I know she's wrestling in Australia soon, but she's doing next to nothing other than that. But yeah, bringing Kaylee Ray in, she's she's got a history of everyone. Like, they could mention they've got a history on the indies with everyone on the other side. She's got history with Candice. She's got history with history of Rhea Ripley, of course, in NXT UK.
As well.
She's got history with Mia Yim. Have I forgot the fourth person in Tegan? Tegan, of course, Tegan and Kaylee Ray got history as well. So this is two big gorilla thumbs up for this one.
100%. And also, whilst we're on the conversation of the ladies, after this match finished, we had Baszler come out at the top of the ring. A really nice visual, I will say. Io Shirai on top of the ladder with a briefcase in her hand. Bianca Belair hanging off one side, Kaylee Ray hanging off the other side.
Bianca Belair, who just appeared from nowhere.
No idea where she came from. She was just there.
She has the power of teleportation. We can confirm this from this episode of NXT.
She does. And Baszler comes out to the top of the ramp, giving a little clap, and then who is to attack her? But the woman that's been attacking everyone throughout the night, WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley. Lovely little continuous storyline throughout the night. That
was great, because I was very intrigued at where they're going with this, and then by the end of it I was like, it's surely Banks and Bayley. It's going to be Banks and Bayley. But the fact that it's Banks, it was Bayley on her own, taking out Jessamine Duke, taking out
Marina Shafir.
I watched it. I had to watch it on my I didn't get on there, so I watched it on my phone on the way home, because I needed to watch it before we did the podcast, so I had to download it off a naughty site. I apologise. I will watch it later on WWE Network for my sins. And I missed a bit, so I think a bit cut off. So was Tegan and Rhea taken out as well?
Yeah, I saw this. Hold on, Bayley tweeted at the list because she's sort of like basically saying, yes, I took out, like, I don't know why she started taking out her opponents, and it kind of helps her, sort of.
Yeah, because
she took out Candice, Rhea, Tegan, Marina, and Jessamine.
So
you can all thank Shayna and Hunter for that.
I would imagine that Tegan, Rhea, Jessamine, Marina, and Candice will be the NXT Women's Survivor Series team.
That
makes sense. But
it's like a multi-women match that will protect Jessamine and Marina, in a sense of they're obviously still quite green, so them two on their own wouldn't be so brilliant, but with three others, it sort of hides it a little.
Yeah, I would say. Also, did you clock that we got an NXT debut during these segments?
Yes, we did. Scarlett Bordeaux.
Yeah, I popped massive Scarlett! It's like, she went from being signed 2 weeks ago to immediately make a debut as concerned friend of Candice LeRae.
Concerned friend squatting on the floor with a very low-cut top and Triple H leaning over her.
I was basically thinking of that GIF. You know the GIF where Triple H stares at, Nikki Bella after the SummerSlam match? Oh, Daddy Triple H, you big dirty pervert.
Daddy Trips. Another brilliant match last night that opened up the show was Angel Garza versus Lio Rush for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. It's now being called the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Give us a black and gold belt instead of a purple one.
Yeah, even if they just take the NXT thing, take the WWE thing and put the NXT thing, I'm gonna have a spicy take, because you know I love having a spicy take. This is the greatest opening match in NXT history.
I would probably agree with you on that one, because it just had everything. And Angel Garza being a smarmy dick, but loving the attention he gets from the women. He jumps in the crowd midway through the match, whips off his trousers. Who's he stood next to? Lio Rush's wife. This was all brilliant for a sprint, and it was like a 10. I don't know roughly what the match time was. It's about 10-12 minute sprint. This had everything, and also I would make a hot take that this might be the best cruiserweight match WWE have done since the belts come back. No, I will beat you on that.
I am discounting the Cruiserweight Classic. I'm talking about on TV.
Oh, no, I was going for... Oh, hold on, are you including pay-per-views?
What one are you thinking of?
Buddy and Cedric from Showdown.
I would say this is better. Honestly. Ooh. This is superb, and this is what 205 Live should be about. This should be the kind of match that's on 205 Live, like as the primo main, not primo. Josh is getting excited. He's listening. As like the top tier,
doesn't work.
As the top tier kind of main event is this kind of match, because Angel Garza said he's over, man. He's over.
Yeah, he's massively over. He hits Angel Clipper finisher, which Lio Rush kicked out of. He also got hit. Lio Rush hit his, and I can never remember what the bloody hell it's called. The bottom rope springboard cutter.
Oh, the come up.
The come up, that's it. He hit that once, went to hit it again, which is when he got reversed into the to the wing clipper. He hits the final hour, which is his frog splash, on a standing Angel Garza. He was sort of half stood up.
Yeah, he did the old Tanahashi, the old high fly flow with the with that on it.
But what is the best thing is the finish, because they pinned him. Rush pinned Garza with Garza's foot hooked under the bottom rope, which then sets us up to go into NXT TakeOver War Games for a rematch. Right,
I'm going to say this now because of what happened. The crowd were not happy, and with the replay, they cut off before you saw the pin. I don't think that was meant to happen.
It probably wasn't meant to happen.
But now they can have a match at NXT TakeOver War Games for it.
Yeah, 100% I can see a rematch coming, because that absolutely slapped that match. It was brilliant.
It was a happy accident, we'll call it.
Very happy accident. But yeah, fantastic match to open the show. Other things that happened last night, we did get another promo from Finn Balor, who came out to moan about how weak the current crop of NXT stars are, that they go to social media and try to get sympathy for their injuries and stuff like that, and how he started NXT. He moans about Gargano, he moans about Riddle, and then Riddle just appears out of nowhere and batters him before getting battered back.
I just love
with one slider on.
I just love Finn Balor being the being old man yells at Cloud for NXT.
he is literally the old grumpy man. It's like, I don't like you kids.
It's pretty just moaning at like Johnny Gargano. I'm like, fam, he's been wrestling roughly around about the same time you have. I'm pretty sure. Like, but yeah, no, like Finn being this is not my NXT is brilliant, because it's Batista. He's doing Batista, and it's great with the spotlight. Even though I imagine the guy who does the spotlight fucking hates Finn, because he will not stop moving.
He walks around constantly,
and the amount of time he's just standing in the dark doing his promo. But yeah, no, all of this was tremendous.
You know that spotlight guy goes to work thinking, I can just put the spotlight on, play some Candy Crush. Oh fuck, it's Finn.
Yeah, Triple H comes out and goes, basically, you're gonna have to give the spotlight for Finn Balor. He's like, oh God's sake.
Just leaning a broom next to each side,
just tapping it back and forth.
I love that Riddle came out in his sliders, and one of them fell off, but he just did not bother kicking the other one off. He just left it on until it fell off eventually.
Yeah, I love the fact that he also I think the one he left on, he then kicked in the direction of Undisputed Era.
No, he didn't. Ciampa threw it at them.
Oh, good. So the Ciampa
when Ciampa and Lee came out, and then Undisputed Era came out, and yeah, Ciampa just picked up and threw it at him.
Yeah,
threw it at Cole. Roddy, being a big boy though, stepped up and said, this man has been through so much, he deserves a night off. I'll fight you, Keith Lee. Oh, okay, you're brave.
Yeah, and it led into a really, really good match, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it did lead to a good match. A very interesting because I haven't seen the full match. I watched highlights because I missed this bit. Was Xia Li defeating Aaliyah? Fucking hell, her nose, man.
This is the thing. I am really intrigued by this because she hit that kick and it was a flush kick, and I do feel like Xia Li's gonna have to do some work at the Performance Center because she's getting a case of the Van Dams of like her kicks are wild and she will catch people.
It didn't look like she actually hit her in the face, though. It looked like Aaliyah got her hands up or some...
Yeah, I don't know what happened, because you couldn't see her bleeding, and then they did the whole nose thing down there, like with the towel, and I thought, oh, is this a gimmick? Like, they're going to do a gimmick of like, the bougie pretty girls had her nose broken by Xia Li, so therefore, that's the feud. But then she did a video, they got a photo of her... crying with blood down her face, doing the... Becky Lynch cosplay. Shout out to Emily.
And her manager, whose name is really escaping me.
Vanessa Bourne.
Vanessa Bourne tweeting about it, saying how unsafe Xia Li is.
So I don't know whether this is a gimmick. So this is before they turned a shoot into a work, Brother Jack, when Ember Moon gave Billie Kay the Eclipse, and she got a stinger.
Yes.
And then they did a whole thing of the Iconics saying that the Eclipse is unsafe, we should ban the Eclipse, and then Ember Moon did the Eclipse anyway. So I don't know whether this is going to be story or not, but yeah, like, Aaliyah's like, oh wow, I can get some notoriety, like I got my nose broken on TV, and then literally she watches the main event and goes, oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah,
more or less. I will say this match was a little bit botchy at times. There was some bits and pieces in it between the two of them. I think one of them was, I can't remember who it basically went to stomp on the other person. You could clearly see she missed, and you could clearly hear the crowd go, oh.
Oh, you know, it was Aaliyah, because Aaliyah is not very good.
Yes, it's not very good. As we did mention, Keith Lee defeated Roderick Strong in a fantastic match. Isaiah Swerve Scott beat Bronson Reed in an incredible match of a big man versus a little man. Thick Daddy Bronson, as he had thick blazing across.
I love that he's got thick on his singlet. It's the best. It's so funny.
Bronson Reed was a tag team wrestler, wasn't he, before he signed with WWE?
No. He was a singles guy. He wrestled a lot in, obviously, Australia, and he did come over here a fair bit. I was once front row for a match between Volta and Bronson Reed, where they were both fighting on the apron, and I was generally in fear for my life.
Who was the Australian tag team, or two people that came over? It was
Oh, what? Do you mean TM61?
No, Jonah Rock was Bronson Reed's original name, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jonah Rock, and... No, he probably did...
with him.
I'm pretty sure he did come over with someone, but they weren't... I don't think they were like, let us know at TWM Wrestle. I can't remember off the top of my head if he did come over with someone, but yeah, no, Jonah Rock, I can't think of who he came over with.
I've forgotten.
But yeah, but either way, I've always loved Swerve. Swerve is great, and the fact that they've let Swerve be himself without really changing a lot of his character, and they're letting him get over is tremendous, which is good to see, especially with what's happened in the last 24 hours, which we probably should bring up a little bit. I know we've only got a few bits left with the whole Jordan Miles thing.
Wonderful.
Which is obviously Jordan Miles quitting, in air quotes, WWE.
NXT.
Yeah.
WWE, sorry.
And says that WWE are racist, WWE, so on and so forth. And hey, WWE aren't exactly the cleanest company in the world. We all know this. They are no angels. And I said, like, they did dirty by Jordan Miles. Like, what they did was unacceptable. And the fact that they have not been held over the course for it is ridiculous, and is probably systematic of a wider problem of institutional... I don't want to say institutional racism, but institutional issues in regarding people of colour in that company. Yes. So I'm hoping that does not affect anyone else in the future, because it seems like for every positive story WWE put out, for every Kofi Kingston, there is a Jordan Miles.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that one.
So it's one of those things. I'm sure we'll talk about it a bit more in depth in the future, but kind of wanted to get it in there because it is NXT related.
It is. In terms of Swerve, you know, like, I've been to a bar to watch WrestleMania, because this is why I will actually bring this up, and I hate the people that try and start their own chant and no one else joins. But I just love, with Swerve, you just got that one person going, "Whose house?" and everyone just Swerve's house back at him.
Oh, he's brilliant.
I think it's so good.
He's brought that over someone's brought that over from the Indies, because he used to do that in MLW when he was there before he joined WWE.
I was about to say, whose house? Strickland's house? That's a mouthful, but it'd be Shane's house.
No, it'd be Swerve, because that was his name. He was Shane Swerve Strickland.
Oh, of course he was. He never lost the swerve.
That's what I said. Like, he brought the swerve, which is great.
Yeah.
His name doesn't matter because he's got the swerve brand, which is exactly what Strickland Isaiah Scott is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we had a lovely bit of a brawl between my boy Damian Priest. I absolutely love the guy, and Killian Dane and Pete Dunne. It was meant to be Killian Dane versus Pete Dunne in just an absolute brawl, and then Priest comes out, attacks Dunne. Security get involved, and then Priest throws one of them over the top rope onto everyone else, and then does his own tope over the top rope onto Dunne and onto Dane. The only annoying thing about this is, where is this going? Like, it's just three blokes kicking the shit out of each other.
Triple threat, maybe. Maybe they're going to have a triple threat match at NXT TakeOver.
For number one contender for Roddy, maybe?
Maybe, it could be that. But it's weird because they're going to have 2 War Games matches. They've announced Balor versus... They've got to have other matches, so I'm imagining the card is going to be... Because they've got the women's division that matters at the moment in the War Games match. There's going to have that match alone. They've got the men's match with all the titles in, so I imagine the 3 matches in between are going to be...
Rush and Garza.
I imagine Rush, I think said Rush, Lio Rush and Garza 2. Obviously Balor versus Matt Riddle, and then
these 3.
Priest, Dane and Dunne in some sort of triple threat match. So that would make the most sense. This podcast, and indeed all TWM podcasts, are brought to you by SquaredCircleBox.com, the only place for your monthly wrestling box needs. With things from superstars from WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, British Wrestling, Independent Wrestling, and loads more. It is the only place that matters if you want to get the best wrestling swag for a low, low price. That low, low price is just £25, people. What a bargain! And you can get snapbacks, t-shirts, magazines, DVDs, trinkets, whatchamacallit, doodads, you name it, they have it each and every month. And just because you listen to TWM, you sexy, sexy people, you get 10% off your first order. All you got to do is use the code TWM News in the checkout. Just use the code TWM News in the checkout for 10% off your first order at SquaredCircleBox.com.
Why not spread? I said, why not spread the gospel of the TWM squad with some of our lovely merch over at Teespring? We have t-shirts for all shapes and sizes, hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and loads more. Also, just for listening to this podcast, you can get 10% off your order. I said using the code podcast. That's podcast. Once again, podcast in the checkout for 10% off at teespring.com/stores/TWM-wrestling-merch. That's right. Praise. Testify.
Chris Jericho at it again with the promo skill, because, oh my God, he's just the best. He comes out and asks the fans, have you thanked me for defeating Cody at Full Gear last weekend? Cody's music hits and we're thinking, oh yes, we're going to get a nice little promo, but we get an even better one because it's MJF coming out as the absolute dick that he is, mimicking Cody and just being an absolute, claiming his former friend didn't care about him, he only cared about himself, and it just set off a beautiful domino effect. Jericho wanted MJF to join him in the Inner Circle. MJF was, a little bit hesitant.
That wasn't necessarily the case. It was Jericho heard that MJF wanted to join the Inner Circle, and MJF heard that Jericho wanted to join the Inner Circle.
Getting their wires crossed.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. I had to write this quote down because it was the fucking best quote I've ever had to write down for anything in this sort of sense. However, I will say that they messed up very, very slightly, but it was Jericho saying, maybe your parents got, because they were comparing the two. He was comparing the two of them, saying, we're devilishly handsome. We both wear scarves. We are both from Long Island and that sort of stuff. And he quoted saying, maybe your parents got really horny watching me beat up Juventud Guerrero 25 years ago in WCW, and 9 months later, your twerp ass came out.
It was brilliant.
It was brilliant, but what ruined it was MJF's response going, who the hell is Hoovy? He didn't say Hoovy, he said Juventud. Yeah,
that's the same guy, George.
Yeah, I know, but if he'd said Hoovy, it would have made it... if he'd said Hoovy Guerrero,
Oh, I get what you mean, yeah, because he wouldn't know who Juventud Guerrera. Yeah, no, he did there. That nitpicking, but that's annoying. Yeah, it's a really good point.
But Jericho's response of just Google it, baby. Google it. It was just utterly brilliant.
This was great because, one, a lot of people will say this is a rip-off, but I think it's a tremendous callback to the obviously the bit at the end where it's like, you know who's a jackass? Who? Jackass? And they both go, Cody! And it's just it's the thing that him and Owens did for Roman Reigns a few years ago, which is a great promo. And this is what I said this before. I think last time I was on Wednesday, it might have been with Mike, or it might have been you, I can't remember. I said the biggest thing that AEW is lacking right now is exposition. They've got a lot of matches. They're not letting characters get over with story. And
Mike, you said that too.
Well, Mike, I said this too. But this entire show was characters getting themselves over with story.
Definitely, it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Speaking of Cody, though, he did come out and hit the worst power slam on Jericho.
They did cover for that quite well. I will give them that. They were like, "Oh, his equilibrium's gone," and the clearly went, "Just do it again. Just do it again." Like they
just rolled around on the floor a little bit and then got back.
I would have done the move again personally. Like I know I'm not a wrestler. I trained twice in my life, and I would have just gone into punches and then did something differently. But I'm not Cody or Chris Jericho, so.
I'm going to buy myself a belt, though, like whilst we're talking about this, because I'm going to ring it every time someone debuts. Because we got a debut on a
we did
Wardlow, who has been hyped up quite a lot, periodically since Dynamite's inception. But he come out and he's basically now MJF's henchman. Yeah,
I love the fact that he had a Burberry scarf, a Burberry tie on to show that he is not allegiant with Jericho. He is aligned with MJF. They're kind of doing the thing of Jericho and MJF are kind of confidants. They're not officially stablemates because MJF is going to be his own man. His own man. He's got a heater in Wardlow. I liked all of this. It was really great because then Cody comes down, attacks MJF, and we said the shitty power slam, and then Wardlow comes out, batters him. Needs a better finisher than just a shitty attitude adjustment. I was hoping he was going to do the F5. I thought, why not? But then he just did a slam, and I was like, that looks a bit wank.
I think the reason they dominated Cody in this situation was the injury he got at Full Gear means he's competing. So having Wardlow debut and attack him puts Cody out of picture.
Yeah, he's out. He's got a dislocated rib, from what I remember.
I thought it was his face.
No, he's got his face. His face is messed up. He's got a battered face, and also I can't remember because I checked the injury report for news on TWM, and he's got a rib injury. Like I think it's a rib pop. He popped a rib basically. Oh. So he's out for a month, I believe. So this makes sense to write him off TV by having Wardlow garrot him with a Burberry tie.
Exactly, and he gets Wardlow over. We also, speaking of Jericho, he was pinned for the first time, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Since becoming champion.
This was the first time he got pinned, and I'm going to talk about this now. When we spoke about Full Gear on Monday on TWM Talks, me and Reese, and my biggest issue, I said AEW's biggest issue is they've got heels for the next 20 years. They've got Jericho... They've got MJF. They've got Sammy Guevara. Their heels are sorted. They've even got Kip Sabian. They've got 3 of the best young heels ready. Their heel roster is ready for the next 20 odd years, and they can only add to it. They did not have a single face on the come up other than Cody and Omega. There was no one there. And in one night, one returned and one got a marquee victory. And it's one of those things of calling stuff before it happens, but being delighted about it. Like when I knew when this was getting towards the end, I was like, "Oh, Scorpio's going to pin Jericho, and Scorpio's going to be the guy who challenges Jericho next for the belt." And when it happened, I was like, "Yes," because Scorpio has been the MVP of AEW since they started on Dynamite, so it makes perfect sense for Scorpio to be the next guy to be the underdog challenger for Jericho and the belt and stuff. So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, no, it does. I saw a tweet earlier today saying, why is a rub going, beating Jericho for the first time, why is a rub going to a tag team competitor? Because Scorpio Sky is one of the most underrated superstars I've seen in a long time.
He's tremendous, and he's really found his form in this format of TV wrestling. He's been an independent wrestler for as long as PWG's been around. So like he's been around the same time as Kazarian, and Kazarian's a veteran. Scorpio Sky's a veteran, and I feel like he's really now found his niche in this TV format, and he's got himself over. He's Trezzy over, and it's what all you do. Simple. How do you get Scorpio Sky saying there was a tag team wrestler? They've got a 3-man team, Freebird. All you do is take the belt off Scorpio, give it to Daniels, and you have Scorpio go after Jericho for the belt. Scorpio's never going to be... unless they get like a Daniel Bryan, Kofi King situation where Scorpio Sky is so over, they have to give him the title. But I don't think they're going to get to that. We'll get very similar to like the NWA in the 80s, where you'd have people get so close to beating Ric Flair, and they didn't. They did it with tag team guys. You had Road Warrior, Animal, and Hawk fight Flair for the belt in the 80s. And you had, you had like people like X-Pac and Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg challenge the like corporate champion, The Rock, in the 90s.
You had Survivor Series 2009. Was it DX against Cena? Were they tag champions at the same time?
Yeah. But I mean, like, kind of having these mid-card, upper mid-card guys that are tag specialists challenging for the title champion. Like, they're never going to win, but you think that it could possibly happen. And they've set that into motion. They've done it organically and very, very well.
Yes. To overview the match in a sense, for a long part, well, I'd say for quite a large portion of the match, Guevara was a little bit of a bitch to SCU. They were sort of keeping him away from Jericho, obviously putting Jericho over of how dangerous he can be, and trying to wear down the younger guy. They had Jake Hager on one side. They had Christopher Daniels, who returned at Full Gear, on Saturday in SEU's corner. So Hager attacks Kaz behind the referee's back. Daniels gets involved, but he's just launched into the barricade. And basically what happens is Jericho catches Scorpio Sky with a codebreaker through the air, gets a 2 count, and then he gets rolled up. I like the way they've done it. They got the pin from Scorpio, kind of made it look a little bit more fortuitous than just outright hitting his finisher and beating Jericho, but it still gives him enough credential to go, I'm coming for you next. I'm going to be your next challenger.
Yeah, like it's that shock win that he's out wrestled the champion and beaten the champion. It almost sounds like it was like I was checking the time as I was watching this on the Fire. I'm like, this has got like a minute or so left. Like, is this? They did mention if it's overrun, it's going on to AEW Dark. I'm like, they wouldn't do that, would they? It's not going to run over. No. And then eventually they kind of got to the. I was waiting for the inside cradle. I knew, for some reason in my head, I'm like, this is ending with an inside cradle. You know, it's going to end with a cradle because it just. There's not enough time for them to do a big flashy move and then him to get the pin. So, and he finally hooked him, and it was a good match. It was a good main event match. There was SCU were always going to win this, but I assumed that Guevara would end up eating the pin because he's the little shit heel that's Jericho's understudy. But giving Scorpio Sky the win, brilliant. And then like I'm guessing in like 3-4 weeks time, what they'll have Scorpio go for the belt against Jericho and come this close to winning the belt, but not quite win it. And
they really want to make him the face in a sense.
Well, he's made himself the face. I would say,
yeah, he's done it himself. I think he's sort of started the groundwork himself, and they'll AEW just going to go, here, off you go, go.
Like they've given him the ball and he's fucking run with it. Fair play to the lad.
Yeah, definitely. The rest of the card, we had Michael Nakazawa making his first appearance in AEW for like a month, like on Dynamite. Yeah,
but they played this off with the Omega being injured and Nakazawa basically out for revenge, which didn't last long when he got dropped on his head with the paradigm shift.
Jon Moxley grabs the mic at the end of the match and challenge to the roster. Sort of like, just come give it.
Yeah, basically. And we're skipping ahead. Obviously, later on in the night, you had the Darby Allin defeating Peter Avalon and Sean Spears, which obviously had Sean Spears disappear. They continued the feud with Joey Janela. Darby Allin wins. And then when I saw him grab a microphone, I don't know about you, I was sitting there going, please challenge Moxley. Please challenge Moxley. Yep. Please challenge Moxley. And then he went, I accept Jon Moxley. And I was like, yes! Brilliant!
So basically, all in a lights out match, but 5 times worse.
I hope it's not a lights out match. I hope they're having a singles match next week. I'm hoping they find a stipulation that's not just constantly going to be unsanctioned, because they don't want to label Moxley as the hardcore guy, because I feel like it will just pigeonhole him again. So I'm hoping they just have a very hard-hitting match next week. They can make it hardcore without the need for barbed wire and mousetraps. They had a special attraction at Full Gear. This can just be an all-out war between these two. And again, actually, speaking of, I said two people. Darby Allin is over. He's so over.
So over.
Like, I know he's small, and people are like, but just small wrestler can't be champion. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure everyone said that about Jericho about 15 years ago, and now he's a believable champion. Darby Allin is, like, one of the most unique wrestlers in the world right now. Give him a chance. Stop being a fucking sizist about it. Not to get
he's
all
also
SJW.
about 25 as well.
Yeah, like, he's still got time to fill out. Like, he's not ever going to be a massive monster man. But the whole point is that he is basically he is a walking corpse that cannot be stopped. And it's brilliant. And I love it. And and I'm all for it.
As am I. What I'm also all for now is what happened in another tag team. Express, made up of Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy, or as JR likes to call him, Jungle Perry, or every other.
Oh, JR was not good this week. He kept calling it Fully Loaded. I was like, oh god, he's been hot and cold.
Is WCPW, for God's sake, JR.
It's WW. No, that's WWF. That's even worse for you.
Yes,
you millennial. God damn it.
Well, anyway, but what we did get last night was a return of another massive babyface that they're going to be pushing in Luchasaurus, who came out and destroyed the Dark Order.
And he is even more over than Scorpio Sky. Like,
and Darby Allin put together.
Yeah, he is the next pay-per-view needs to be Luchasaurus versus Jericho for the title. And I would not be against Luchasaurus beating Jericho for the title because, one, he's a really good wrestler. Like you can base a good wrestler on how good they do their return walk. No, when you have the big dramatic return and they take out everyone on the ramp, and obviously the high watermark is Austin at Backlash 2000 where he chairs everyone, and then the second best one is Naomi who does a running Rana down the ramp onto Natalya. This one's up there because he just comes down. First one stomps through their chest brilliantly. Second one, I think it was he choke slams him. Third one, he flies through the air and just nuts them one. He then
it's not. I'm literally just watching a video. It's me jumps.
Yeah,
just headbutts him.
I love the tail whip where he took out all three creepers in one go. That was some Jackie Chan shit. I love that. That was really, really good. And all of it's great. I hope they wrap up this Dark Order thing, let Jungle Express get the win over Dark Order, and then you have Luchasaurus go up the card, have him feud with I'm trying to think like a big have him feud with Pac.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, have him feud with Pac to get him ready to face Jericho because he's over.
There's a lot of reports, isn't there, that they're going to be bringing in an AEW mid card.
I imagine they'll do a mid card title, but I imagine that will be more of a, unless they do an open weight belt. I wouldn't be shocked if they did a junior belt for like Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt and
Darby Allin and
Darby. That's what Darby Allin I think will be main event because they know how big of a deal it is. But like your Jack Evans, your Angelicos, that's that sort of thing. But I don't know if they bring a mid card belt in soon. They are doing that Dynamite dozen battle royal thing. Well, are they going to count that ring as like the mid card title? I hope not, but we'll have to see.
I wouldn't be against against Luchasaurus being the first mid card title because then like. That would be pretty decent. Yeah,
I wouldn't be against it, but I feel like he's already over enough that he doesn't need it.
Yes, that is very true. And also, I really don't like so I'm glad he.
Oh no, I love the Super Smash Brothers. I cannot fucking stand the Dark Order. They're trying everything. They've removed Stu from his name, so now he's just Grayson. They're trying to give him promo time. It's just not working. Like,
I mean, what wrestler is called Stu? Seriously,
Bennett Hart.
Right, Stu Bennett was not his ring name. It was Wade Barrett.
Still, point remains. Stu Hart is going to kick your ass from beyond the grave.
Yeah, all right, okay. Nyla Rose defeated Danny Jordan. So a nice bit of a squash victory for Nyla Rose, trying to get her back over as a monster.
You also had Kong batter Ali. Yep. And Cutter. By the way, I love they're doing this whole hair cutting thing.
Collecting
everyone's hair. Because one, it's a really good heel trait and I love the new gear and I love the new song. I didn't clock how good the song is at Full Gear. that there are 8 million ways to die. She's one. It's just so cool. And also, I love they can do this with the women, because what do? They go to the back, underneath, because what's in their hair? Hair extensions.
Hey.
So they're not actually cutting their hair like Beefcake did in the 80s. They are cutting out hair extensions. So it's a nice little gimmick, and I like it all. I feel bad for Ali, because she's a really good wrestler, and she's done nothing since she's come over to AEW.
I forgot she was there.
Yeah, same, to be honest. I hope she gets more, because she's very, very good.
Yes, completely agree. I would also love it if there was a bit of a botch. I just hope that at some point she's going to go to cut the hair extensions, real hair, and just this little bit of a tiff backstage.
You just want the drama. You want the bloodshed, don't you monster?
Yes, I love it. Create more drama. We got a rematch from Full Gear as Pac defeated Adam Page. Is that now Pac 2-1?
Yeah, Pac went 2-1. This was the best match out of the three, personally, as well. Yes. This was tremendous.
Pac is just king.
And Hangman Page has really kind of... He's pulled it out of the fire after kind of getting that whole over-push thing at the start, where he won the Battle Royal, got the title shot, lost, had to really fight from underneath again. But I think he's proved himself that he's a... I would have Hangman... If they do a mid-card title, Hangman Page should be the first person that wins it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And I agree with you, he's done really well. Even in defeat, he still looked brilliant. He still looked strong, even though he has lost twice to Pac, he's lost to Jericho and that sort of thing, but he still remained to be on the rise. He's another person that is like Luchasaurus face, and you can keep him for years, but you can also probably turn him heel.
Yeah, completely.
And still be a good heel.
Yep, there's nothing but upside with all of them.
Yeah, completely. And the final bit of that was a monstrously decent backstage brawl between Proud and Powerful and the Young Bucks. Proud and Powerful getting the upper hand on the Bucks. A couple of great bits included in this was, at one point, I think it was Nick beating Ortiz throughout the back, and all you can see in the background is just John Moxley.
Yeah, I caught that. I was like, why is no one mentioning that Moxley's just sitting there watching, sitting with one of the female roster, just watching them fight. But I think everyone was more distracted by when they went into the toilet and Orange Cassidy was just standing there.
What I absolutely love on that bit as well, Santana just stares at him, slowly closes the door, carries on. It
was tremendous. I also did love, I watched it on the fight feed. I watched the full 2-hour fight feed, so they don't have commercials and stuff. I did love hearing constantly when they were trying to fight out to the ringside, just hearing Nick Jackson going, "We're in commercial still, we're in commercial still, we're in commercial still," because clearly one of Proud and Powerful just was not listening.
Just verbally shouting, "Ortiz!
Shinsuke!
No.
Shinsuke!" Yeah, no, it was all great. And then, annoyingly, the commentators didn't clock when they did the spray paint. They were spraying a circle, as in the inner circle. I'm going, he's made a target! No, he hasn't. He's done the inner circle. That was the game.
Well done, Excalibur.
God damn it. Do your job, man.
Now, Matt, you said at the beginning of the podcast, this is the toughest one. Who won?
Oh, God, I don't know. This is the... Because AEW did what I wanted them to do, which is give exposition, and they're kind of back to where they were in regards of roster and what they're meant to do after kind of a, not a ropey, but a difficult few weeks of out kind of a lot of mid to upper mid-card faces. They've got Luchasaurus back. Hangman Page is pretty much rehabbed now, so they've got him back as a solid upper mid-carder. Scorpio Sky's over as fuck, and they can have him challenge for the belt. The promo between Jericho and MJF was tremendous. The match between Pac and Hangman Page was brilliant.
The debut of Wardlow.
Well, everyone loves Wardlow. Wardlow is the greatest thing of all time. However, when you have the opening match be one of the best opening... Well, actually, the best opening match in NXT history... And the best cruiserweight match they've done since the cruiserweight title has come back to WWE, and a extremely brutal ladder match where Mia Yim put it all on the line. A great swerve at the end of a swerve, and then a swerve for the swerve at the end of the show. But then the middle of the show was it was good, but it wasn't amazing. Whereas everything, You know what? I think literally it's almost, if we're doing it on points, it's almost like, if we're doing it out of 10, these shows, it's like a 9.8 to a 9.9, and I'm gonna have to give it to NXT because of that Angel Garza Lio Rush match. It just tips it over the edge. But honestly, if I could give it as a dead heat, I'd give it as a dead heat, because they were these were the two best shows they've done so far. They were tremendous, and I am loving life watching these shows so every Thursday / Wednesday.
I completely agree with you. This was the best show both brands have put on. But I am going to agree with you. I'm going to give it to NXT because they had something to build, where obviously AEW has just come out of a pay-per-view. NXT have got 2 to build to. They've got NXT TakeOver War Games, and they've got Survivor Series to build to. And everything that they did on this show is building to this. It's we're getting the teams done for War Games. We're getting Bayley coming in and attacking Shayna Baszler to increase the heat on the women's triple threat match. And it's everything that they're doing at the moment is just key. It is so good, everything they're doing, and it is just building up to what is probably going to be one of the best Survivor Series, in my opinion, in recent memory.
Yeah, I think NXT takes it purely because of timing, because AEW are coming out of a pay-per-view, whereas NXT are building up towards a double-header pay-per-view, where they're in a situation of actually having one of the most unique storylines, where it's like, there's 2 pay-per-views, but there's 2 different universes, but this one company is involved in both universes. So it's just a fascinating dichotomy of what's going on. And there's so many moving parts. That's why I said NXT just edges it.
I completely agree with you. I'm going to ask you a question on the spot here. Obviously, we do our premonitions. I want to be involved in the Survivor Series premonition. Me or Josh will be NXT representatives. I need
to figure out how we're doing this, because obviously we used to do it on one podcast, and now there's like 6 podcasts, and I'm not gonna lie, I've had about 4 different people come up and ask to challenge Joe for the belt. I'm gonna figure something out.
The best way to figure out with me and Josh is to do NXT TakeOver War Games predictions. The winner of that moves on to Survivor Series. Yeah,
in all fairness as well, there's a third person, because Reese did get 7 out of 8 right for Full Gear on Twitter. So I'm trying to think what I'm going to do. You know what? I will get back to you on that. As the general manager of TWM, I will get back to you on what we're going to do with the title. He will defend it next weekend. Guaranteed. He will defend that title next weekend. I don't know against who or how many people, because there's a lot of people challenging, but he will defend that belt next weekend. He's had a long enough break while we've been finding our feet with the new podcast schedule, so he will defend it next weekend. I'm not sure how we're going to show it or where we're going to show it or what we're going to do, but he will defend it next weekend. I'll say it one more time for the people in the back. He will defend it next weekend.
In War Games!
If I could do predictions War Games, I would, but I need to figure out what that would be.
It's just, have you ever seen the video of William Regal just saying War Games over and over again? It is fucking brilliant.
Well, I'm going to find it, and you'll see it on the podcast post. Just him on repeat, just in case to remind everyone what we're dealing with here.
If you have an opinion on how we can do this, do hit us up on Twitter at TDOMWrestle using the hashtag Give George a Chance.
Give George a chance. You're not the divas. Just do the plugs at the end of the show and let's get out of here.
As I said, do follow us on Twitter as well as Facebook and TDOMWrestle for all 3 of those social medias. Do also go over to at twm.news to read yourself some articles. You've got lots of lovely articles over there. I'll let Matt tell you a few of them that's going up or gone up over the week.
You can go read an article that this handsome devil has written saying what happened to Bobby Lashley. His career's gone down the shitter since he came back to WWE. Let's have a talk about what went wrong with one of the most dominant TNA champions in recent memory. Goes back to WWE and gets put into some sort of weird sexual storyline that may or may not involve pegging. For further information, please listen to this past Monday's Raw Talk. We went on about it for 10 bloody minutes. We've also got 5 females to look out, who to look out for in the women's division in AEW. Obviously, yesterday was the 40th anniversary of Eddie Guerrero's passing. You can read about his effect on the industry in modern times. Up there, that was written by Rob Troubadour. You can go check that out. We've got loads of stuff going up over the next few days as well, and then next week there's loads of shows over the weekend, and there's 2 pay-per-views, so we're going to be covering all of that stuff over at twm.news.
Matt, what is your social medias?
My social medias things are simply enough, they are at Matty ID. Sorry, I got a message from Dan as I was literally talking. So
I genuinely thought you were going on Twitter to try and find.
I did look for one, and then I, is it at Luchasaurus?
Yeah, it's at Luchasaurus.
Yeah, it is at Luchasaurus. So follow him as well. Follow me at Matty ID, and then follow my alternate identity at Luchasaurus.
Follow me at George_Geal on the Twitter, and at George Geal 95 on the gram, and also do subscribe to us, like I did say earlier. Podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Acast, Podbean, YouTube, and anywhere else you do get podcasts from to hear my lovely voice. But yes, that has been that. What a week of wrestling! What an absolute week of what a day of wrestling. Until next week, guys. Love you. Bye.